Greetings and salutations, Impact Players. I am Robert Reed.
And I'm Edward Davis.
And we are your
Impact Partners. As your partners, I'm here to motivate you.
And I just might irritate you, but our goal is to make sure you have a personal impact. Success. And you gotta have it, get back at it like a crack at it. What's going on, Impact Players? Talk a little bit about how to be more confident. There's a number of ways that we can be a little more confident. I remember reading a while back an ad actually. It was an ad from Success magazine, and it was talking about how you and I can be more confident. See, confidence affects our performance. Confidence can affect the outcome. You know, we just had the conclusion of this whole, Marvel MCU, this saga, the 10-year journey. And one particular character I want to kind of talk about a little bit is none other than Tony Stark. And one of the things that stood out to me was not just his intellect, but his confidence. When you look back on some of the situations that occurred and throughout these movies, and one of the themes is that Tony was confident almost 99% of the time. Obviously in dire situations, lost a little bit of confidence, but for the most part, he was pretty confident. I mean, look at, like, for instance, in the first Avengers when he was going up against Thor. Now, this guy is going up against the Norse god of thunder, and he's in a suit of armor, and he fights him no problem. That scene when he was in the woods, or at the end of Avengers, and he was dealing with Loki again. He's dealing with the god of mischief, and this time he doesn't even have armor on, and he's still behaving in confidence. Now, you can call it false bravado, but nonetheless, he still came off pretty confident. When he was at the Senate hearing in Iron Man 2, again, he didn't seem threatened one iota. So confidence can take you a long, long way. So what I want to do is just kind of recall some of the things that I'd read before as far as believing in yourself and self-confidence. So a couple of things that you can do to bolster your self-confidence is that you got to push through self-limiting beliefs. As children, we think we can conquer the world. That's just how we are when we're kids. But somewhere between childhood and adulthood, our enthusiasm and natural inclination to dream big are squashed. And that's a sad fact, but it does happen. And parents and teachers start imposing their own beliefs about what we can and can't do in life upon us. If the instructors at the FBI Academy were not pushing us past our self-limiting beliefs, they weren't doing their job. And that's really what happens as we get older. Then we begin to adopt the belief systems of others, and that can be very, very dangerous. We start not to soar as high as we could. It's kind of like when the eagle, hanging out with the chicken story when we were really, really young. But how we can make this, how can we make this work for us? So what you want to do is you just want to find your limits by exposing yourself to different situations and pushing through the uncomfortable. And so once you have confidence in yourself, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. Now, I want to go to the next thing. Don't or never confuse memory with facts. Never confuse memory with facts. See, our memory doesn't store information exactly as it is presented to us, but instead we extract the gist of the experience and store it in ways that makes the most sense to us. And that's why Different people witness the same event often have different versions. See, your brain has a built-in confirmation bias, and that means it stores information that is consistent with your own beliefs, values, and self-image. And this selective memory system helps keep the brain from getting overloaded with too much information. So recognize that your memory does not always provide you with accurate information. Okay, but let's see how it works. Now, how you can make it work for you is that you want to revisit the facts of a memory loaded with self-limiting beliefs and try to gain a more accurate perspective on the event. And talk with others that might have a different perspective. Okay, so you want to understand, respect perspective. Even if you don't necessarily agree, at least respect perspective. Okay, another thing that we could do. Talk. But what I mean by that is you talk to yourself. Positive self-talk. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. See, talking to yourself can make you smarter, improve your memory, help you focus, and even increase athletic performance. The documentary The Human Brain claims that we say between 300 to 1,000 words to ourselves per minute. The Navy SEALs and Special Forces uses the power of positive self-talk as a way of getting through tough times. We can do the same thing. For example, by instructing recruits to become mentally tough and speak positively to themselves, they can learn how to override fears resulting from the limbic brain system, a primal part of the brain that helps us deal with anxiety. Okay, so that self-talk. We see it a lot in sometimes in horror movies or high action movies where the actor in that moment is just kind of talking to himself or talking their way through it. This is the same thing. You just see it played out. How can you make it work? Be positive. Because the way you talk to yourself influences your neurobiological response to it. When you say, I know what to do here, or sees things as a challenge rather than a problem, you've turned your response into a positive one. So remember that, impact players. Let me give you another one. You also want to think positive to overcome your negative bias. You may have a negativity bias. You want to think positive. Since the early days, humans learned to get lunch or be lunch. Our natural negativity bias has kept us safe from danger for thousands of years. But not every new or different thing is a threat to our survival. See, this negativity bias can chisel away at your confidence because we're hardwired to pay attention to all that we've done wrong. FBI agents are taught to hunt the good stuff. It can be hard at times because positive information is like Teflon and easily falls away, but negative information, like Velcro, it sticks. Now, there's a couple of ways you can make that work for you. 1, come up with 5 positive thoughts to counter every one negative thought. 2, let every positive thought sit for 20 seconds before moving to the next positive thought. 3, acknowledge both good and bad emotions. 4, do not try to suppress negative ones. And finally, 5, label the emotions for what they truly are and move on. Do not enter into inner dialogue about the negative emotion because then it'll become more powerful. When you dwell on it and you vacillate on it, on the negative, it's going to become more positive. So don't enter into an inner dialogue about the negative emotion, because then it becomes more powerful. Let me go to another point here on how to raise or increase our self-confidence. Raise your curiosity levels. That's right, raise your curiosity levels. See, curiosity is an important trait for FBI agents who work in investigations and anyone who wants to be confident and successful. See, curiosity is the foundation of lifelong growth. If we remain curious, we remain teachable, and our minds and hearts to grow larger every day. You see, we can train our beginner's mind by always looking forward and discovering new experiences and uncovering new information. Raise your curiosity level. Now, let me tell you real quick how to make that work for you. Ask questions and be curious. Why? Because it makes your mind active instead of passive. It encourages you to be more observant of new ideas. It opens up new worlds and possibilities. And finally, it creates an adventurous response that leads you in a new direction. Let's get a couple more and then we're going to bring this video to a close. The other thing, and it's similar to some of the other ones, but you want to overcome self-doubt. You definitely want to overcome self-doubt. See, if you lack self-confidence, you always feel like you're at the mercy of other people, and nobody wants to feel that way. See, when you assume a victim mentality, you are no longer resilient to life's inevitable obstacles and roadblocks. Okay, they happen. Okay, but don't adopt a victim mentality. See, FBI agents go where they are needed, not where they feel most comfortable. So you got to remember that. Now, how to make it work for you. No one but you is stopping you from achieving what you want to accomplish. It's time to identify the areas in which you doubt yourself and remove those barriers. You have to overcome self-doubt. Last but not least, face your fears. You probably knew that was coming because you're fearful, but you have to face your fears. See, when we feel in control, we're not afraid. That's simple, right? When we feel in control, we're not afraid. When we have a level of comfort with something, it's not scary. When we don't feel in control, we don't think clearly because our emotional brain is in the driver's seat and it takes over. And that's why fear often seems random and irrational. Our emotions are in control. So, how do we make it work for us? See, Harvard Medical School professor, his name was Ronald Siegel, and he recommends this book, The Mindful Solution. He says, think about your worst fear. Spend time with it. Now make your fear worse by getting closer to it. Imagine the worst that could happen. Now focus on your breathing. Feel your body relax. See, you didn't die, did you? You're on your way to conquering your fear. See, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to do it? Okay, that's one of the things we have to remember when it comes to self-confidence and how we can be more self-confident, more self-confident. So, guys, I just want to get that over to you. And if you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, give me your thoughts. And if you like the video, please tell everyone. And if you do not like the video, tell no one, because no one likes a snitch.